Go wide for a second, everybody. Hold on a second. I just got to do. Okay, we're now talking drag
racing. Wow.
There we go. All right.
Blake walked
like
in
NASCAR every weekend.
Yeah.
Blake walked in. The first thing out of his mouth was, "Where's the dragster?"
We have to get some
dragster there. I'm going to bring one next
That's kind of a cool. You can't see it on the floor there, but it's kind of cool what happened.
I actually have a die-cast funny car.
I have
very old
several.
school.
I've got a couple.
It's Bruce Sarver's.
Funny car.
Former,
I have a Bruce Sarver top fuel car, ironically.
Wasn't that the big deal though? In the 70s and early. I mean, it was the funny car models. That was a big deal to build.
Snake and Mongoose cost all that, man.
Exactly.
You had to have everything they had, all Mattel stuff, the toys, and
I remember those little, the little Hot Wheels racetracks where you shot them off. It was fun.
Had it all.
Yeah.
I used to go out, ride my bike, and throw my parachute out. And slow
I did that when I was a kid.
Really?
I even put the flap in my tire to make it sound like a fuel car.
Cackling. Yeah. Oh yeah. Been there, done that. Thanks to those guys. I'm still doing it.
The bike thing or the racing?
Yeah, the racing. Oh. Yeah.
It's interesting. You think about how innovative those guys were to be able to do that. I mean, it set the tone for
to bring a sponsor in.
That's
and
to license it too.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Have you seen the movie, Lewis?
I have not.
Should I see it? I'll bring it in.
It's all in the movie about how they go to Mattel and
that's actually like the crux of that movie is the sponsorship.
I think that's a great story. That to me is a really cool part of the whole movie right there.
Because
them landing that sponsor.
They were ahead of their time because that's one of the great stories about the Star Wars movie franchise. No one cared about the merchandising rights.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fine. That was where the real money was at.
And from there, it just went. They just went. After that, tons of sponsors after U.S. Army,
Pepsi.
They did Army, Navy, and they had Pepsi and all. There it went. Yeah,
absolutely. And so we'll talk a little bit more about it.
And now we've come full circle because sponsors were falling out.
I was just going to say that was certainly probably if
somebody had to say it.
Maybe the heyday.
It's the great challenge of finding people to help you pay for what you love,
what you want to do,
and that's an issue for all of us in the room here.
Absolutely.
Who are in events or in media. I mean, how do we help pay for what we love to do?
Who's going to cover the cost?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what are the opportunities we can give our sponsors and everything else? So that being said, but now this weekend though, Red List was postponed.
We were scheduled last weekend. We couldn't do it. Probably could have pulled it off, but Jesse is a fairly new promoter and just felt like he needs every chance he can get to get a great crowd out there. And I support him 100%. I said, I'll back you up. It's not my call, it's your call, but we'll back you up for sure.
You had the availability on the date, so you could get him in there.
We did. So, we just bumped this weekend. He looks like he's going to have perfect weather this weekend. So he's a smart move on his part, hopefully.
So, great move. And then next weekend is ANRA. And I see Butch is already fired up. Telling people here. In fact, we got to share that there's a whole electronics package he's got for rules changes they have this year.
Oh, yeah.
So, what do you expect from ANRA as far as the consistent car count, the barbecue, the whole thing coming up here?
I think it's one of the best races we do out there besides the March meet. I'm kind of partial to that, but it's one of the best things we do out there. It's just unbelievable how it continues to grow. Earlier you guys talking about the financial stuff and Vandergriff calling it, and it's just comes down to money. And these guys are racing. I was talking yesterday to Dar Hawthorne about a little interview we were doing about the March meet, and these guys that race this kind of racing are racing within their means. They're not going out and buying fabulous rigs and tons of parts and special making all their stuff. They're just weekend warriors. They're just out here to have a good time, and that's where it's at right now, man. It's where we're seeing the classes and the spectators and the racers just growing and growing and growing.
Does it concern you for the overall health? I mean, at your level, with so many sort of, I guess, I don't want to say hobbyists, but guys who are those weekend warriors using this track, and I mean that's like the heart of the March meet. And the Hot Rod Reunion.
It is
those
that's our strongest shows we have out there.
Exactly. But does it bother you to see the sport struggling with some of this turnover they've had? In top. It
does. What's more scary to me is the we continue to see racetracks closing. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
Is we're seeing it's just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So that part is everything goes through its cycles.
Right.
We've seen it since 1900 dirt. I mean the nitro category stuff. Pro Stock's going through it right now. Everyone's going through different stuff, so it happens.
But then to have like Leah Pritchett not have a ride now,
Yeah.
who's coming off a win, and you've got all this sort of people are looking at going, what's going on with NHRA that's not going to NASCAR or the other racing with the women? I mean, it seems like there's an opportunity there, but is the sport? What is the state of the sport?
Yeah, that's the scary part. Is if you want to go top fuel racing or nitro funded car racing or pro stock racing for that matter, NHRA, you got to have a multi-million-dollar budget. That's scary.
Yeah,
that's real scary. That's why I look back at what we're doing. The March meet, you don't need to.
Right.
You want to show up with a car you put together with you and 2 or 3 of your buddies, you can still do that.
Right.
So and you could run nitro in that and still do that. I mean, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but compared to what Vandergriff and those guys are going through, it's a whole lot more affordable.
And it seems like in the last
that part scares me that we're seeing less and less. They can do it.
And you saw it firsthand that NHRA went through all these major changes. They went to Fox Sports 1.
Right.
They brought in new people to kind of run things.
Yeah.
They were sort of slow on social media, and all of a sudden you see it ramp up, and now they're all over the place. But is it too little, too late, or can
I hope not?
Can they
Certainly, I
reverse
hope
things?
not. I mean, obviously they're very involved in our track with us. I certainly hope not.
I think the TV ratings so far would indicate that it's probably not too little, too late.
The ratings are pretty
TV
good.
ratings are as high as they've been. In
TV ratings for Fox were up. The TV ratings for NASCAR are down.
Right.
But they're different parallel universes of how many people are watching.
Sure.
But it's the grandstands that aren't
correct
at Las Vegas. I was just Ken Sitko out of Edmonton. His son Troy races and some of the the nostalgia stuff. He went commenting on Facebook that he was down at Las Vegas, sitting in the same seats that he always sits in,
right?
And there weren't many people around him this year. And just even 5 years ago, it was could you move over so I have more room to they were crowded.
I mean,
now he's got the whole area to himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's seeing the change just as when he comes down as a spectator at some of the NHRA events. So
I will say I think one area where the stands might take longer to come back, I feel like the NHRA from a national event standpoint, it's something that Blake's track is good at and a lot of the local tracks are good at, is there's just they got to this point where there was too much downtime at national events, and you don't have that. Like you go to the March meet and stuff's running. When funny cars are done, dragsters running. Dragsters done, it's the Aldreds, and boom, 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 and stuff's always going on. And even like before the final rounds, there's not this huge lull. And like the one thing I noticed at Pomona that I thought really hurt them, and I've heard that it got better at Gainesville, it got a little better at Vegas, is with the whole live TV
the live
deal.
TV thing. Yeah.
Like from second round to the semis, it was 2 hours and 35 minutes between fuel runs from the second round to the semis because they had the first 2 rounds went so well, there were no oil downs or anything, that they then had to sit and wait to get to TV. And so the problem was that at that point they'd rushed through all the junior ranks and whatnot because they didn't want to have all of those interrupting live TV. So then you didn't have anything to put on the racetrack. And like you can't have it can't be 2:00 in the afternoon and you be sitting there for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and so I think that's where the crowd.
It's a difficult thing with your live TV just because, as you said, you don't know what you're going to encounter, whether you're going to have an oil down or an accident or something. You could have an accident. Anything. An accident could be 35, 40 minutes.
I know.
That's one of those things that I think fans and some racers, but fans really for so long were always like, we need live TV at drag racing. Yeah. And it's like one of those things where it's like the fans don't sit in your shoes.
Now you have it. It's like,
great. We've got live TV at home, but everybody that's sitting at my racetrack right now
is sitting on their hands,
exactly.
dying.
Yeah. And I think we're kind of getting a mixed message from NHRA a little bit. They're doing live streaming. They got their own live streaming deals with $95 for the whole year. So do they want to show it to you, on the internet? They want you to come to a race. I'm kind of trying to figure out what. They got a new TV package, and it's definitely doing better. Yeah, but now they're doing the big live streaming deal. So I'm trying to figure out what's.
I think it is.
Where are they going to go?
The hard part. The hard part is that and we've talked about this before, that the TV experience for racing, for motorsports particularly, is especially NASCAR. It is spectacular.
Yeah.
And
but no comparison to being there live.
No comparison.
No comparison.
No comparison to feeling it, to hearing it.
Yes.
And I think
Smelling
that's what
everything.
brings those people there.
Yeah.
And it will bring people to your track. The people who subscribe online, those 90, it's like we talked about last week. we had 15,000 people from Australia touch our content during that period.
Right.
So to me, that extends the brand. But I think
yeah.
building the overall experience is where the event planning comes into place. And I think you hit the nail right on the head too. As I've become more educated with the sport, and we've looked at our own internal analytics, we now know that we can't just leave and go do our reporting and our video from Top Fuel and from Funny Car. We got to be around for Fuel Alters because that audience is so passionate, and you guys, let's go Fuel Alters. They're gonna stick around. We're looking over. When's Fuel Alter coming out there? Because Mike is addicted to it, and they have the better backup girls too. So
Fuel Alter fan.
So there you go.
That's
Well,
really,
Hey, you got to
really
get
why
the
Mike
backup
sticks
girls
around.
are part of the pageantry. There's their own page. I mean, they have backup girl of the year.
Yeah.
They get in a lot of the women who do this. They get into the period costumes or You think of the Fighting Irish is always dressed in the green to go with the card. It's just its whole area. I mean, you've got a Facebook page with thousands of likes on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hundreds of which are from Griff.
So I hope
Exactly.
NHRA is doing kind of what we do. I'm not saying they should do what we do. It's just we have a live streaming. It's Bank Shift.
Right.
We use it to try and encourage those of you come out, and Chad does that. He's do not rely on our coverage. Get to the races or get to a race. Not so much ours, but somehow get to a race.
Right.
Come see it live. What
Absolutely.
we're showing you is just a piece of what's out here. So hopefully that's the dangling carrot.
And that's the thing,
get out and see it.
to do it right on the live streaming thing,
Right.
You got to have a huge production, situation.
Yeah.
And
but
we
the
all
better
know.
you get, the more people stay home.
Right,
So
right,
where's the balance?
So if in the way Bank Shift does it, it's like it's good enough for those who
It's a
probably
teaser.
can't make it out there,
Right.
but those who really love the sport, they're going to get out there and see it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
It's good. The live stream is good for the people who can't get there. The people
yeah,
on
and
the
there's a lot
East
more that
Coast.
can
There's a
than
lot of
can't.
people
By the way,
who are interested and can't get
I mean,
there.
there's guys in the military that they can't go.
Yeah.
I want to go to the races for the weekend.
Right.
Sorry.
Your live streaming does its job though, because I know at the March meet we hung out with some people who were from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Who literally came out to the March meet because they'd watched
Because
it
of-
online
yeah,
5
no,
years in a row,
we hear
and they
that
were
a lot.
like, "This year,
we're
we got to
going."
go." They were like
Yeah.
hardcore racing
Yeah.
fans. They go to all the 4 wide and all the big NHRA events back there.
Right.
And this year they canceled a couple of NHRA events so that they could fly out to Bakersfield for the week. And they got here on a Tuesday and left on a Monday and went through the whole experience.
Yeah.
Which,
no, it's
the city
So-
thanks them.
Absolutely.
No, that's people staying in hotels and supporting restaurants and
And
buying papers and
I
watching
think,
TV.
Yeah, I
and
think that's the thing
great
that we talked about
for all
last
of us.
time too. Is that there's all these opportunities, and it's like looking at it, and the future to me is taking those analytics you get from your audience or your spectators and say, how do we tailor better events for them? And I think everyone is looking at that, right now and it's not just NHRA or NASCAR; it's all sports.
Everything,
Everybody's
everything we
looking at that
do. Yeah,
opportunity, so.
yeah.
Anyway, all right,
Yeah.
great stuff. We solved all the problems of the world.
We're done.
Jason Galvin, he's a drag racing guy, but he is going to be racing at Kern County Raceway Park this weekend.
And this
Nice.
just in.
What?
This just in. He's got his car all cheated up.
Ooh,
Griff is already starting controversy.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blake, thanks for joining us.
You
We'll
bet.
talk to you. Hopefully, Butch will be with us next week, right?
He plans to.
Okay.
I already talked to him about it.
All right, very good.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for everybody. Watch us on Facebook.